sensational. Has he done enough, Foxes? Oh, that is a big spin. On these wet tyres, it looks like it's going to be, look at this, all the cars starting to line up, the final cars taking their places. Get hyped, Foxes, get excited. We are at 3 lights, 4 and 5. How long are they going to be on for?
And it's lights out and away we go.
Everybody away relatively well. Exotic, a really good start. Agent starting to defend. Not sure what's going on there. You've got TK Dab and Ultra, the big winners, up into turn 1 and 2. Some phenomenal stars. Agent slow off the line, getting bogged down, finds himself in P5 at the minute, near his Ferrari teammate. Really not sure what has happened to him. Potentially a bit of over revving at the start has made them miss out massively. TK Dow will be able to see at the minute the position change. TK Dow, look at that, 4 places in the opening exchanges of this lap, but Callum Ultra is looking pretty racy, it must be said. He is not far behind TK Dab. One mistake and I'm sure he's going to be ready to pounce as they're taking it incredibly cautiously around here. We've got a yellow flag a bit further back. Not too much position change though at the moment, it must be said. I think a little bit of a bump between some cars. Dutchster in P11, closely followed by Mellow Cover. We've got, is that VXR with wing damage? That looks like the reason for the yellow flag. Look at that. No front wing whatsoever. He's going to have to dive into the pits. Fresh set of boots for him. Got to be very careful here as he's on the brakes. Exotic with the fastest lap. A 33.326 to kick things off from Exotic. Not bad on the opening few laps. In he comes for his pit stop. Mellow Cover in the Mercedes. A solid start. Up 4 places from what was not a great qualifying session for him, it is fair to say. Dutchster missing out. Hansen into the points again. Up 1 place into P10. Is that MK2 Ellis going wide? It is. Toad Carrot now getting a time penalty. Ah, these two side by side in front as well. It's looking a bit racy, a bit dicey. All the things that we love to see. Everything that makes the Bluefoxx League incredible. Toad Carrot gets the job done though. Doesn't make any mistakes through the Aqua Minerale. Let's see how the rest of these drivers are gonna be going. Mertzy up 4 places, up into P6 as well. He's got a bit of space to Toad Carrot behind. Coded Agent, Fresh Agent, a DNF. Something has not gone well for him at all there, it must be said. Not impressed with the game. TK Dab now a fastest lap. A 28.787. A very tidy lap indeed. So a bit of pressure on Mertzy then to clinch some points for Ferrari. We'll be keeping an eye on his progress. Only 32 laps in this race. You think I say only 32 laps, but in wet weather conditions, not gonna be easy. If it's full wets throughout, gonna be tricky. TMS Matt holding position at the moment in P4, sitting comfortably behind Callum Ultra, and this is the one downside to wet weather racing, is that it does neutralize a lot of the strategies where you're going to have some people potentially pushing on 1 stops, maybe going ultra aggressive with 2 stops. Not only does it neutralize the car, but strategies all become very much the same. So it is even more so about the drivers, their abilities, and what they can do in these tricky, wet conditions. So Exotic Planes out the front at the moment. He's keeping it tidy, not doing anything too severe. He's got just under a second gap. Flecky with a 28.613 goes fastest. As you can see, furiously writing down these fastest laps as well. Decent bit of short shifting happening from Exotic, making sure that not spinning up those rear tyres too much. Hansen has now been making up even more places. He finds himself up to P8. This could be yet another incredible points haul for the Red Bull drivers. You've got TMS Matt in P4, Hansen P8. It's looking good for their Constructors' Championship bid, it must be said. Mello now up into P11 as well. MK2 Ellis holding a position in that P7. Got a nice bit of a gap in front and behind him, arguably in a bit of a race of his own, but we've seen it happen. One mistake in conditions like that, it's curtains. It's absolute curtains. So I get the feeling our driver is going to be a little bit tired, a little bit of mental stress throughout this race. I'm already banking on a few. Going to feel rather happy when this is over. Now, let's not forget as well, we saw it last week, the impact that these time penalties are having on the race results. It's so crucial that these guys do keep it within the limits, because the points difference between, you know, a P4 and a P5, even a finish crossing the line at P4, being bumped down to P6, where it is that close in terms of these finishes, it goes a long way. And in full wets so far, the driver's keeping it pretty clean. Toad Carrot is the only driver to incur a time penalty on the opening 5 laps. So a decent display from the drivers involved tonight. We got 15 left in the running. Storm Twister and Giovinazzi down at the bottom. Fury, VXR and Mello currently outside the points. What a drive that would be from Mello Cover. He's up 5 places. Could he finish in the points? It'd be a stunning effort from him if he could. Oh, Flecky using a lot of that curve there. I must admit, he's keeping TMS Matt pretty honest. But wow, Callum Ultra is pretty close to that gearbox, it must be said. It's a 50% race, Jimmy. So we've got 32 laps around this Imola circuit, and in full wets, it will feel like a 100% race. Oh, nicely on the brakes is Ultra. Cautious on the throttle on the exit. There's a little bit of a gap to TMS Matt, but these 3 up here pretty much matching each other in terms of lap times, their overall pace at the minute. One mistake could dramatically change your finishing position here. You could be right at the front and suddenly find yourself a 0 out of the points. This is how close things are at the minute. As we go a bit further down, we can see MK2 Ellis starting to get a bit closer to Mertzi. Is there a potential overtaking opportunity coming up? No doubt going to be waiting till Sector 1 to find out for that. Oh, he's right on the gearbox. I don't think he's going to look to make the move down into the chicane. He might just look to stay close. Use that slipstream. Oh, he's got a good exit though. I think this is going to be his opportunity. They're going to be side by side. Oh, a little bit of a wheel bang there. Ellis gets the job done. But Mercy, oh no, he doesn't. Ellis goes really deep into the corner on the gravel. Mercy though is going to have the slipstream. Let's see how powerful this is. Obviously not going to be any DRS available this race. How strong is the slipstream? Not quite as powerful as I thought it was going to be. I'll be honest with you, Foxes. I was expecting him to draw up a lot closer than that. So Ellis now up a place into P6. Mercy still up 3 places on his qualifying position. So still a good result from him. Look at these top 5 though. Unbelievably close from each of them. All under a second. It's becoming a little bit of a train here. No doubt Flecky's going to be sitting there in P5 just waiting for one of them to make a mistake and capitalise on it. Who is your money on, Foxes? Rain at Imola. Exactly, Spud. It is tricky to say the least. A dramatic end to Q3 as well, where we had rain falling in the final 2 minutes to upset a few people's qualifying time. Oh, we've got a spinner. Exotic plays. He's out. TK Dab is round. What is happening? Oh my goodness me. Is that... no. I can't see any damage on TK Dab's... on TK Dab's car. It doesn't need to pay. Exotic Planes is out of the race. Not sure what has happened there. We've got a full safety car out on track at the moment. It looks like taking it for granted, Exotic. It's rule number 1 where there is an AI that was in there and unfortunately can't be removed. Got to be extra vigilant when that is happening. There is sadly nothing that can be done about that apart from all drivers exercising their caution. Unfortunately, not a lot that we can do. Callum Ultra now finds himself in the lead. TMS Map P2 Flecky on course for another podium. Here we go then. TK Dab is still there in P4. Ellis up to P5. So, a safety car. This is where things get interesting because, yeah, going to be tricky to maintain heat in the tyres as they filter around. Can't exactly go too quickly here. Don't want to over-rev it either. One little snap and that is it. The car's going to be put into the wall. Wow, bit of drama here on lap... Well, it was lap 7 of this 32-lap race. Indeed, Exotic. Not a lot of luck going your way, but this is it. Sadly, with the driver leaving the league, it's put an AI into it, unbeknownst to ourselves. So yeah, all drivers at the very start of the qualifying session made aware that was going to happen. Now, a few drivers coming in. Intermediate tyres starting to go on. Now, is it intermediate conditions? Are these guys taking a bit of a gamble? Is the rain getting lighter? I mean, it's still raining, but potentially keeping it on that slightly drier line. Maybe this is going to be the right tyre to go on. Let's have a look and see what tyre everybody finds themselves on. So quite a few now on the intermediate tyre. Ultra has stayed out on wet. So too quite a few of the original front runners. VXR has pitted early and went on to intermediate tyres as well. Not quite sure how they've been working for him over the past 6 laps, but could be the tyre to go on. Hansen has pitted as well. Maybe, just maybe, there is a drying line that can handle the intermediate tyres. We're going to find out once the race gets underway. Safety car is still out at the minute. It does tend to cool it relatively late on the lap as to when it's coming in. I think it's going to be another lap though. It seems that way. No way is it going to cool it this late. No, absolutely not. So we will be going around once more. So lap 11 seems to be when we're going to get this show on the road again. Another chance for the drivers to get a bit of fire into their new Inters or the older wets. Who else is... Oh, we got a few more diving into the pits. Flecky has made the jump. Now this is where we spoke a little bit about strategy and how wet weather does nullify a lot of the strat, because you're not able to play between one stop, two stop, that kind of thing. But the safety car does allow it a little bit, and where these guys have now come into the pits and find themselves on intermediate tyres is Toad Carrot the de facto leader right now. Do the intermediates have the pace to be able to put a bit of pressure on these guys that have stayed out on wets? Ooh. Oh, my goodness me, excuse me, what a day it has been. A very, very long day indeed. George, good to see you in here. So, the league is closed. There is a trial process that we run. It is a 2-stage trial process, as well as a selection and a few other things for the drivers to be taking part in this league. Sadly for season 3 it is closed. We are well into this season and will not be doing any recruitment until season 4. No, it's not based on time trial. We host a race filled with the rookies, and then we do one with the bottom 10 of the previous season and some of the rookies that we have put through. Essentially, more will be spoken about when season 4 comes around, but we're a long way off that yet. A very long way. Right, safety car is in this lap. Ultra becomes the new safety car. He is away up through the gears. Giovinazzi finally comes into the pits as well. Now, this is where things are going to get really interesting. Are wet tyres the ones to be on, or intermediates the inspired choice when it comes to current conditions? Toad Carrot is the one to keep an eye on, certainly through these corners. The car looks pretty stable and is arguably looking quicker than the guys ahead of them on wet tyres. Wow. Those guys that have put the Inters on certainly looking like they have they've made an inspired decision. Sachin, what are you doing? Absolutely, what are you doing? That is absolutely a timeout. You're not here to antagonise. Don't you dare be that guy. We are not here for that. So that's a timeout. Any more from that, Sachin? A straight up ban, and actually that is your second offence, it must be said. So that's going to be reviewed. Yeah, mate, I see it, I feel it, and in all fairness, he is looking at a ban. Put it this way, it's going to be reviewed by AJ, and we'll make a call on it, Sachin. It's not good enough. Essentially, it's not good enough. That being said, Toad Carrot has managed to get himself past Mellow cover, and he's now got MK2 Ellis in his sight as Ellis is running wide. Could Toad Carrot go around the outside here? He's going to try it. Oh, there's a little bit of a wheel tap. Look at the acceleration that they've got on those intermediate tyres. Oh, it's not looking good for Ultra up front. Surely he's going to have to box. It is... it's looking like Mr. P2 here could be missing out on a podium for sticking with the wet tyres. Now we can't see what the drivers were told, what Jeff may have come in and advised them to do. Mercy with a time penalty. But yeah, Mello falling back down at the moment. You can see he's just getting swamped by those guys that are on the intermediates. Is Ultra going to pit? He does. He peels off into the pits. Cannot delay it anymore. Toad Carrot goes fast as a 27.252. So the lap time's now starting to come down. Inters are the ones to be on. It's still raining. You can still see it coming down, but nowhere near as aggressively as it has been. Meanwhile, VXR, 10-lap-old intermediate, says TMS Matt behind him, and we know what VXR is like at defending. Very strong at putting his car in the right place, but is the degradation on those intermediates going to start playing a factor in that P2 defense? We're gonna have to wait and see. Everybody now on intermediate tyres. A 2-stop so far for Fury. VXR, again the big winner, up 11 places, but both he and Toad Carrot do have time penalties. We've already mentioned how crucial they can be when it comes to deciding race results. TMS Matt just needs to stay relatively close, and he could inherit another win here, although that gap at the front, Toad Carrot really enjoying the clean air. Could it be a maiden victory for Toad Carrot in the Bluefoxx League? We'll see. I mean, look at this, a 26-4 now for Toad Carrot. He's flying. That gap now up to 3.5 seconds. You can see the difference. TMS Matt now making a move. Too good a slipstream along sector, well, along that pit straight. VXR tries to defend. Oh, VXR. Wow, VXR braking really late into that corner. Jesus. I thought he was going to lose it then. It really looked like he was going to lose it into the corner, but he holds on. Dutchster in P5, and fan favourite Mr. Hansen now finds himself up to P5. He's on intermediate tyres. Pitted at the right time. He's got a strong chance here of not just a points finish, but an incredibly strong points finish. We're going to have to wait and see. We got a yellow in Sector 1 for Giovinazzi, a DNF in Sector 1. I'm sure a few drivers are going to be fairly happy about that. I think the car might still be on track, pulled over to one side. I hope so. Let's see what Gio's teammate... Look at that gap now, up to 4.2. Toad Carrot is flying. Caution, you got yellow flags that are out. You see Gio's car pulled over to one side, well out of the way. It's looking more than decent. Is Toad Carrot now 4.1 Ultra now sets the fastest lap, a 25.757. How that is that is 7 changes of fastest lap so far. Just goes to show how quickly the conditions are changing, and we're just about coming up to the halfway point of the race. The gap is closing a little bit. Is that time penalty going to come back to haunt Toad Carrot? Matt just needs to keep it on the road, not do anything too dramatic, and it could be another race win for him. We'll have to eagerly await. Still a long time to go in this race. Conditions seem to be changing. Could a drying line appear? Doesn't look it at the minute with the amount of rain that's falling, but you never know. That rain just needs to stop for a little bit. Maybe a little 5-6 lap dash at the end with a slightly dry line. Oh, look, anything can happen. Anything can happen at this point. TK Dab, time penalties as well. Let's see how Ultra is getting on. He finds himself P8 after leading the race for a decent stretch of time. He is thundering through a 24.487. My goodness me, he's putting his foot to the floor, isn't he? He is not messing about. He does have a decent amount of time to catch up on, though. You got Mertzy nearly 11 seconds ahead, and in conditions like that, not easy to make up that amount of time. It's got to be said. Let's see what Flecky is up to. Witness the Fleck bomb on an AI. Interesting. We've got TK Dab behind him. Ooh, little squiggle on the exit there. So clean through there is Flecky, and hitting that apex. It is stunning. That is a personal, not error, but it's something I need to get much better at, is making sure I'm hitting that apex and really carrying the speed through that corner. There's a lot of lap time. I am leaving on the table. Oh, wow, that's really... Oh, what a save from TK Dab there. My goodness me, how did he hold on to that one? It's another 3-second time penalty, though, pushing the track limits once again. Let's have a look and see all the penalties. TK Dab, 9 seconds at the moment. VXR in 6, just a 3 for Toad Carrot at front. So he needs, wow, that's another big swipe from TK Dab. He comes into the pit lane. Flecky retires. Not sure what has happened there. Is that a car off? I think it is. I'm not sure if that's and TK Dab as well, or is it a desync? I'm not quite sure what's happened there, but we got more cars DNFing. My goodness me, yellow flag in sector 1 at the moment. Look at this gap though. Toad Carrot now 5.3 seconds ahead. A pit lane retirement. Wow. Okay. Very interesting decision by them to come into the pits and retire. Still so much to play for. Only 11 drivers left in the session. Wow. We've got Storm Twister currently P11, a little bit further back from Mello. Quietly plotting his way around this Imola circuit. 3 seconds worth of penalties, but that should not bother him too much. Same for MK2 Ellis, his teammate ahead of him. It could be a double points finish for the both of them. Callum Ultra still in P8. He's making up time though. He's really pushing it on those intermediate tyres. Definitely on a little bit later than the rest, and maybe that is what is proving that clinical bit extra in allowing him to close that gap. We're talking what, just 5.7 seconds at the minute in that time, continuously coming down to Toxic Fury. A yellow flag in sector 3. Is that Hansen that's... Oh, it was Hansen that was round. The Hansen of Red Bull found himself, I think maybe a little bit too much speed coming into the chicane. Down a couple of places where he was, and this is it. One mistake can cost you dearly As Toad Carrot has just found as well. Another 3-second penalty to his name. Ultra again throwing out the fastest lap. So now TMS Matt a little bit more pressure off, where Toad Carrot is just pushing the limits a bit too much. He's getting penalised for it. Okay. 6 seconds. The gap's come down a little bit. 4.8. Well, no, it's see, this is it. He needs to throw something pretty special out there. Like, he needs to get it 6 seconds plus. And against TMS Matt, that is no fucking mean feat. Not by a long way. Dino Edits comes in. Hits the 8 months. Love to see it, mate. Good to have you in here. You join us. Lap 20 of 32 at the minute. We are in wet conditions. This VXR is rounded, facing the wrong way. Not ideal for him. Not sure what has happened. Oh, he's spinning right the way round. Not sure what he's doing here. It's a reset to track. A new... Oh, I think he's coming into the pit lane there as proper spin from VXR. Currently in P9. It comes into the pit lane. This is going to be a fresh set of intermediates to go all the way to the end. They've been on the car a while, it must be said. A very long time. They've been knocking about. That gap now 4.2 to TMS Matt. Absolutely pressure off. Dutch Dirt, though, currently in line for a podium finish. That'll cover another 3-second time penalty. Also, guys, if there has been an incident, you are meant to be sending clips at the end of the stream, not now. Let me just throw that one out there. I cannot do everything at once. Thank you once again. Right, Mertzy then. 3-second time penalty to his name. 6 seconds behind Dutch there. Absolutely a world of his own. Race number 13 is unlucky for Som, but he seems to be doing okay at the moment. That 3 seconds shouldn't bother him too much with the gap behind. I mean, Toxic Fury, more than capable of bringing that gap down and potentially pushing for that P4 position, but we will wait and see. We've got 11 laps to go here in this race. Hansen back up to P6, but Ultra is now right on his tail. That is 4 consecutive fastest laps from Ultra in 4, well, I say consecutive. I told you he'd make up the gap, didn't I? Now he's right up there to Hansen. Toxic Fury not exactly too much further ahead. Strong chance of Ultra finding himself back up into to P5-4 maybe. Question is, where does he try and make the overtake? He's got to bide his time here. Just get close to the gearbox of Hansen. And this is his opportunity to go for it. Needs a good exit. You can see he's using all of his errs. It's all about that slipstream. Hansen moves to the left to defend. Gives enough width. And it seems like Ultra is going to get through. He does. Hansen plays the smart move. Realises he's not in the position to hold that place. So Callum Ultra starting to make some moves up the grid. He's got, what, 1.2, 1.3 seconds to Fury ahead of him. It's not a lot. Certainly with the rate that he's been pumping out the fastest laps of late. We'll see how he goes. Strong performances, it must be said. You got Hansen, Ultra Fury, Dutch Dirt and TMS Matt, all with no time penalties at the minute. No doubt probably pushed the track limits here or there, but certainly not enough to warrant a penalty. And in these conditions, this circuit, I'd say that is very, very good going indeed. Oh, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't excited for Dutch Dirt right now. A P3, I think, would be a very welcome result for him. He's a solid driver, shown more than enough potential and talent, certainly last year, and arguably at the start of this. I think he's just needed one good result to boost the confidence, to allow him to really get going for the rest of the season. Maybe this is going to be the result he needed. A solid P3 would be a fantastic result for Alpine. Ultra in P6 at the minute, looking close to Fury, could be pushing it up to P5 soon. It's not going to be on this lap, I don't think, unless Fury makes a bit of a mistake somewhere. I think they'll be going around one more time before Fury is going to be forced to defend like hell. Seeing what is going to happen here between these guys. I mean, Hansen's dropped back a little bit. I'm sure he's going to be quite happy with P7. I mean, let's talk about Hansen a little bit here. From season 2, being a guy that was relatively competitive but not scoring points by any means at all, to suddenly here we are, F1 2021. He's got a little bit more pep in his step. He's got more confidence about him. He scored his first points in the Bluefoxx F1 League ever in race number 1. That then ended up becoming a race win in the Right Round League that he competes in on a Tuesday night, and I believe what was their season opener. And now look at him, he is looking at 3 points finishes in 3 races. A solid result, particularly considering he was not sure whether he wanted to race in this, as he wasn't sure he was going to be competitive enough. Yeah, things that we love to see. He's certainly proving us wrong, so to speak, doing more than good enough. Fury, though, a 3-second time penalty. Damn, not what he wants. That pressure from Ultra behind starting to show a little bit. Let's have a look at TMS Matt. He's still 3.7, 3.8 seconds behind Toad Carrot, but that doesn't matter. Those time penalties that Carrot has accrued means that Matt is looking at 3 from 3. At the moment, things are starting to go his way. Maybe he's going to make a little mistake somewhere, potentially a little 3-second time penalty. Something tells me I don't think so. Not that it would make too much difference if this is how the race was going to go. Best action on circuit, though, is right here with Callum Ultra. Come on, less than a second. This has been building up for a few laps or so. I think Fury has been using his ERS really wisely along the start-finish straight, and Ultra just cannot seem to find a way past. He's going to have to push a little bit more in other areas. You can see it here. He's got his ERS on. He's looking for a gap, trying to exploit a weakness, but Fury being solid at the moment in his defense. But it takes one mistake and you know that Ultra's going to end up pouncing on it. Absolutely will. It's all fairly spaced out across the rest of the grid at the moment. Oh, is that the mistake? Is that the... Oh, it seemed like there was a little bit of a mistake from Fury. Biking Legend, good to have you in here. Oh, he's using his ERS on the way up to the chicane. Not sure that's really where he... I think here is his opportunity to get on the ERS here. Oh, I think this is it. Which way is he going to go? He's going to go left, Fury. Oh, he holds it nicely. It's a strong defense from Fury, it must be said. But oh, he's running wide on the curbs. He's already got 3 seconds worth of penalties. Ultra's that little bit closer. Is this the lap that he gets it done? Both using their ERS. Is the slipstream powerful enough? I don't think it is. It's just not enough. The cars are so matched in these conditions with the ERS. Oh, Ultra. Oh my goodness me. Mello now goes fastest. A 24.791. Stunning lap from Mello at the minute in P9. Not sure if he's recently boxed, but some fresh inters maybe doing the job for him. Let's have a look and see how many stops they have had. So look at this, 1 stops all around. Mellow cover no, sets that fact up on 12 lap old intermediates. Wow, that's a absolutely stunning lap on a tyre that is that old. Oh, was that Ultra just pushing it a bit much? He's got away with it. No doubt there's going to be a warning in there somewhere though. Seems right. TMS Matt gets a penalty. I think that is the first time penalty we have seen from him in this league. Oh, Ultra is trying everything he can. So the gap now at 3 seconds, and there is 3 seconds difference between them. So that has changed the dynamic of the race a little bit with what, 5-6 laps to go. If they were to finish as it is, Toad Carrot would take the win. Well, really, really interesting. Let's have a look at their tyre life as well. Toad Carrot's 1 lap older than TMS Matt in terms of tyre life. It's going to be a pretty extensive stint on those intermediate tyres, but is that going to be the crucial difference between them? The thing is, TMS Matt, you can see him running really wide at Aqua Minerale, arguably looking to push the limits a little bit, push 1 or 2 warnings in a bid to bring that gap down. That's what it seems like to me. He's prepared to take a little bit of risk and arguably risk a penalty to try and bring that down. Let's see how Toad Carrot responds. Needs to pull something out here, because at the minute that gap is coming down. Either that or TMS Matt has been saving his ERS massively in the past few laps and is now trying to unleash it in these closing few laps. You can see him using it considerably more there. Questions being asked then of Toad Carrot, the current race leader. Has he got what it takes to match the speed and be able to hold that 3-second gap to take a maiden win in the Bluefoxx League? I'm sure he'll be happy with a podium, but when you're this close to a win, I promise you that the champagne on the podium does taste a little bit sweeter. Meanwhile, Dutch Dirt sitting quite comfortably there in P3. Mercy 3 seconds behind him. No time penalties for Dutch at the minute. Now you have got Storm Twister ahead, who is AI'd. So got to be careful of him, and it will be being blue flagged. Smart choice from Dutch Dirt, biding his time, making sure that there was a sensible spot for the AI to get out of the way. Oh, really excited to see if Toad Carrot's got it in him to hold on and grab a race win. Fair play. It is getting more than interesting in the final stages of this race. Maybe TMS Matt is going to make a mistake. Put that time penalty up to 6 seconds in his push to take the win. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen in these remaining 4 laps to go. Mercy does have a time penalty. He is starting to get a bit closer to Dutch Dirt, but I don't think it's going to be enough to mount a podium drive, so to speak. Ultra finally gets it done on Toxic Fury, but the Fury's not going anywhere. He's still right on the gearbox. Could it be a position swap in the next few laps? Oh wow, that gap. TMS Matt now gets it down to 2.3. He's taking chunks out. It is all pretty spaced out everywhere else on the grid. We've got 2.2 seconds between Hansen and Fury. MK2 Ellis sitting on a time penalty at the minute. Again, 3 seconds behind. Lots of penalties, unfortunately, for Mello and VXR. 12 seconds each at the moment. Wow, TMS Matt, what has he been doing in that Red Bull? Definitely been saving that ERS. Has to have been bottling that up for a few laps. He's really pushing it. Or is that one lap tyre difference starting to come into play? We're looking at 1.8 seconds between them at the minute. But you can just see the amount of ERS that Matt has been using. Oh, Mercy with another time penalty. Doesn't look like Carrot is going to be able to hold on here. Or it's realistically going to take a mistake from TMS Matt to push the limits and give him an equal amount of penalties. But considering that is his first sort of corner cutting infraction for ever since season 3 began, I'm not backing him. I'm not backing him. See, look at that. That gap coming down 1.5. He's now going to start catching a little bit of that slipstream as well, particularly through the final corner and onto the main straight. Is that hole that's being punched in the air is going to allow TMS Matt to close up even further. You see now hovering at 1.2. So it's some tactical driving from Matt, saving up that ERS and using it when it counts. It's sensible. But Callum Ultra is in with a chance of finishing P4 here. The penalties that Mercy is accrued for himself could mean he drops down to P5. Hansen's got a chance of moving up into P6. What a result that would be. I think that may well be the highest points finish for Hansen in the Bluefoxx F1 League. What a result that would be to see. Just under 2 seconds. He can hold it there. It's the penultimate. Oh no! Oh, it was there. It was all there. And then he pushed it. He pushed it too much. He's given himself a time penalty. Oh, he just had to keep it clean. And now it's not looking likely he's going to move in terms of position. Oh, that was such a golden opportunity for him to keep it on the straight and narrow, but car got away from him. He's going to be kicking himself for that. Absolutely will. Now the final lap has started. TMS Matt under a second or so to Toad Carrot. Cannot be denied as Toad Carrot does indeed get another time penalty. A tremendous drive from Toad Carrot to be leading so much of this race. I think he's going to be crossing the line first, but will not be taking the win. 9 seconds worth of penalties compared to TMS Matt's 3 means that, well, as long as everything goes good and Dutch Dirt doesn't go crazy, should be finishing with a P2 for Toad Carrot. Not sure what his highest place is in Bluefoxx F1 League, but this will be up there. This will absolutely be up there for him. No question about that. Dutch Dirt as well. A little mention to him for that P3 finish. No penalty points either. That is a stunning effort from both of the Renault drivers to not accrue any penalty points. So, Toad Carrot, an inspired choice to go onto the intermediates straight away. He will cross the line first, but time penalties will mean TMS Matt makes it 3 from 3. Toad Carrot on P2 of the podium. Dutch Dirt then, a little wiggle across the line. He takes the 3rd spot. Mercy in P4 Ultra crosses the line. He takes P4. Mercy drops into P5. Fury 6th. Hansen into 7th. MK2 Ellis crosses for 8th with Mellow Cover. And we've got VXR coming around the final few corners. Oh, Hansen in the chat, mad at himself. He was so close to clutching up with maybe a P6 finish for himself. Just a little bit of a push at the end. P7, a solid result for him, it must be said. Saw twist across the line. All eyes then on VXR. The final corners. What could have been for him? He finishes P10, but a damaged front wing meant a few more stops than I'm sure he would have wanted. GG's everybody. One silly little mistake, Hansen. That's what it costs. Let's see who gets driver of the day. Toad Carrot, absolutely. And that is more than well deserved. Things you love to see. TMS Matt, 3 from 3. Wow. That is a stunning victory. It's got to be said. After P4 in qualifying. It all could have been so different. Lots of drama happening throughout that race. Wow.